Hello everyone and welcome back to my B&B Everyday YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In Forrester's main office, Steffi thinks they got out of Hope's blasting and the slice of her line fairly unscathed. Ridge wishes none of it ever happened. Steffi says same. She typically doesn't care who her workers date. She doesn't care who Hope is seeing, as long as she doesn't go after her hubby. They talk about Hope getting support from Carter. Ridge hasn't seen him moment. Steffi thinks Hope's gotten into his head ever. In Hope's cabin, she and Carter make out. They go over Steffi ending her life's work. It was all a misreading she allowed. She was going after her hubby. They bandy why they can't tell Steffi about their relationship. Hope thinks it would be nice for her to one day admit that she was wrong about her. Carter's titled to the office to try and get through to Ridge one further time. Brooke comes by and says she hasn't had any luck. Carter wants to try one further time with him and Steffi before Brooke asks, "Before what?" Carter just says he has to turn this around for everyone's sake. Finn arrives at Il Giardino, where Cleric tells him he wants to talk about Hope. "I'm upset about my son. He heard she was fired by his woman." Finn asks if he heard what pushed Steffi to do that. Deacon says Brooke told him what Steffi thinks she saw isn't what happened. Finn says Brooke's not objective when it comes to her son. Deacon asks, as opposed to Steffi, who has an ongoing vendetta against Hope for times? Finn replies, "What about me? The person she threw herself at again." Cleric tells Finn that Steffi is acting bull-headed. "You've got to try and get through to her, man, before she does presently damage than she formerly has." Finn asks Deacon if he's asking him to support his son over his own woman. Cleric just wants him to tell Steffi that occasionally effects aren't what they appear to be. Finn shrugs, "Occasionally they are. Like Hope dressed in lingerie on top of me on the office." Cleric demurs that she tripped. Finn says he was there. Cleric dubiety she intended to betray him. Finn argues it's happened ahead. He knows how important Cleric cares about Hope, but she's been doing effects that haven't been like her for a while now. Maybe it's time she sought professional help. She's her own worst adversary right now. None of this is Steffi's fault. In the cabin, Hope tells Brooke that effects can't stand the way they are. Brooke is sure Carter will try. She's tried too. They know Steffi's leaning into the father/son angle hard. Brooke worries if Carter pushes too hard it could boomerang on him. Hope doesn't want that. Brooke muses, "You've really fallen for him, haven't you?" Hope says it was a nice surprise. He's a decent man, the total package. The way he's been championing for the Logans and going toe-to-toe with Steffi and Ridge is really applaudable. In the main office, Ridge and Steffi complain that Carter has to figure out a result for this LLC he asked for as they're paying too important in levies. Carter comes in and closes the door. Ridge asks if he's going to yell at his son again. "Is that what we're doing?" Carter didn't mean to yell ahead, but he stands on what he was saying. They need to reinstate Hope for the future. So come on, let's do that. Please. At Il Giardino, Deacon says he'd no way ask Finn to turn against Steffi. Finn says he wouldn't indeed if he wanted him to. They go over Hope reading more into their fellowship than there was, and Finn reprises that he wouldn't lobby his woman on Hope's behalf. As Steffi's hubby, she has his full support. In Hope's cabin, she hates that her mama is in the middle of this battle. Talk turns back to her leaning on Carter. Having someone who believes in her means the world. She believes in Carter too and his vision for Forrester Creations. But Ridge and Steffi are disrespecting him too. Carter wouldn't allow himself to be their punching bag. She hopes he'll be suitable to get through to Ridge, perhaps indeed in a way Brooke hasn't been suitable to yet. At Forrester, Carter rants about demanding to reinstate Hope for the future, and also to expand the company into a global luxury brand. The company rests on the strength of the head developer right now. It would deteriorate if commodity happened to Ridge. They need to take his advice and not conciliate him or brush him off. Steffi isn't going to change her mind. Hope for the future is done. She thinks he's supporting Hope a little too important, and she's starting to lose faith in his capability to do what's stylish for the company. Carter appeals to Ridge. He agrees with Steffi. Carter is losing his perspective. He wants him to concentrate on the LLC and leave them to run the company. "Do your job. Latterly, Steffi and Ridge agree that commodity has changed with Carter. She thinks Hope is impacting him. Finn arrives and kisses Steffi. They modernize him that Carter is still backing Hope. Ridge says this is delicate because they're like a family. Finn says Deacon summoned him to try and move him to press Steffi to take Hope back. He made it clear he supports his woman. Steffi doesn't lament her decision and says there's nothing Hope can do about it. Absolutely nothing. At the cabin, Hope and Brooke are wondering if Carter got through to Ridge when Carter returns. He reports that they would adhere to him. Brooke can't understand why Ridge goes on with Steffi. Carter says it's been like this for times. He's sick of the Forrester versus Logan battle and feels he let Hope down. She reassures him. She's no way had anyone fight so hard for her ahead. Carter will keep fighting. Brooke doesn't suppose it'll count. Ridge and Steffi control Forrester. They enjoy the company. Brooke gets a textbook and has to leave for an interview. Formerly alone, Carter tells Hope he won't give up on her. She believes in him and thinks he's an inconceivable man. They kiss. In her office, Steffi logs into her laptop and pulls up Hope's train. She also deletes it. In the cabin, Hope says Steffi can't keep getting down with this. Carter nods. Steffi Forrester and Ridge Forrester will remain confused over Carter Walton's fierce defense of Hope Logan and her place at Forrester Creations. The harder Carter pushes for Hope and her line to be reinstated, the further thwarted Ridge and Steffi will be. Carter has come Hope's biggest supporter out of nowhere, so it's easy to see why his jest has been puzzling Steffi and Ridge recently. You'd suppose Ridge and Steffi would start wondering about a romantic connection, but it seems they'll stay in the dark on that for now. Steffi and Ridge still wouldn't be suitable to figure out what would beget Carter to fight so hard for Hope's future at Forrester. Meanwhile, John Finnegan will head to Il Giardino, where he'll obviously see Deacon Sharp. Cleric owns the place, so it's not surprising that Finn will cross paths with him for a tense discussion. Finn will presumably be there to pick up some takeout unless Deacon specifically process him. Whatever the case, Finn will approach the bar and eventually have a Hope-related argument with Cleric. Of course, Deacon will rush to Hope's defense and contend her story must be legal. Since Hope claims the lingerie incident was a misreading, Cleric will feel like Finn should believe her and maybe move Steffi to rehire her. Still, Finn wouldn't suppose there's any other explanation for Hope throwing herself at him while scantily sheathed. Hope couldn't offer up a name for anyone differently she might be luring, so Finn will continue to believe this was another failed attempt to pursue him. Anyhow, Finn clearly wouldn't want to push back on Steffi's blasting decision. Steffi is the co-CEO of Forrester Creations, so Finn trusts her judgment at work and has no intention of telling her what to do. Cleric and Finn wouldn't let this conflict curl into a brawl or anything too wild, but they'll still face off in Thursday's B&B occasion. Although Cleric may not do anything to sway Finn's option of Hope, he'll at least make his passions known. Hope and Carter's secret love will continue to beget problems, so we'll bring you more prognostications on all the drama and updates on any shocking news to come.